Good morning and welcome to the Church of Rehabilitation, and I am your preacher, the Reverend Andrew Locke. Today is a history lesson for students and new graduates especially, but even some established people. For those who do not know their history will be doomed to repeat it. Let us go back to Genesis chapter 32, Jacob wrestling with the angel perhaps symbolically his darker self. Now, as morning approached and the angel waned, it touched him behind the hip and he was made lame. As a result of this, the sciatic nerve is not considered to be kosher, and the Jewish people of faith will not eat of it. So we knew then, around about 2,500 years ago, there was a relationship between the sciatic nerve and distal symptoms. Ancient Greek, Egyptian, Indian texts all seem to observe some relationships here. Hippocrates, the father of modern medicine, 400 years BC, he noticed that there was a relationship between symptoms of lumbar spine and antalgic postures. Clinical reasoning was underway, yet you won't have been told that at your universities. This is over 2,500 years ago this was almost written. Galen, the Roman physician, in 200 BC, he noticed a relationship between spines and pathologies. You're told there's no evidence. Then, Aurelianus, 200 AD, he noticed that there was a relationship between lumbar spine injury and repeated flexion and loading inflection. He noted it and wrote of it. So there you are. If you look at that, 1800 years ago, there was an established relationship between flexion postures and lower back injury, but you're told there's no relationships, that it's all in their heads. This is a long time before pain science reared its ugly head. Well, Paulus of Aegina, he noticed there was a relationship between hip and lower back pain. Hips and lower backs were intimately related. So historically, we do know it has been well and truly observed the relationship between lumbar spine injury, postures, and loading and flexion. Disc theory is a disc fact, although you may not be told of it. In 1932, neurosurgeon and orthopedic surgeons, Mixter and Barr, performed the first laminectomy between L2 to S1, a big one, removing a disc fragment and absolving the person of radiculopathy, therefore demonstrating the relationship between disc injury and the radiculopathy. Disc theory is a fact. In the 1960s, Rob McKenzie demonstrated the relationship between postures, positions, and resolution of lower back pain, correction of sciatic scoliosis, if you want to look up the paper, New Zealand Journal of Medicine. All right, so McKenzie noticed that there was a relationship between positions and postures, and if you look up centralization phenomenon, you'll get to understand there's papers on that, how you can predict the injury resolution and what positions may assist a person. Non-specific lower back pain does not exist. The term shouldn't even be in medicine, shouldn't be in any research. Well, because we should have got rid of it nearly 2,000 years ago at least. We do know there are specifics of all back problems. Every back pain has specifics. For good students, I recommend dynamic disc designs will help you. This great little model will give you an understanding. You need these on your desks to become good professionals. Work with them. These are good things. Well, when it comes to universities, perhaps what's being taught is an agenda. And as Matthew chapter 7 verse 15 said, beware the false prophets who come in sheep's clothing, but within they are ravenous wolves. So they'll be giving you the research that they want you to know. They don't want to give you the research they don't want you to know. Perhaps they themselves don't even know it because they have an agenda to push, whether it's the VMO debacle, the transverse abdominis multifidus bullshit. And now, the pain science that's based upon the concept that all back pain or much back pain is non-specific in nature. If you don't accept the term non-specific lower back pain, then the house of cards of pain science will tend to fall apart because there are biomechanical markers, there are biomechanical assessments to which we can use, which will give us an understanding about how to best help your clients. So if you want to become a great professional, you need to understand movements, positions, postures, and the relationship between the biomechanics of a human body and lumbar spine injury. This is another wonderful message to you from the Church of Rehabilitation. Remember, stay big, train hard, know your history.